what do you do and why do you do it?
My mission in life, my purpose is to empower both men and women to find their light and to be able to give their light to their world in the biggest and most impactful way they possibly can. Why do I do it? Because I believe that we all come from the divine, from the same place. I feel we all have infinite, unlimited amounts of potential within us. And in the human experience, we can get lost in that. And there's a lot of unraveling of trying to figure out who we are and doubting and comparing and criticizing. And I do it because I've been in that position a lot in my life. And I know the darkness, I know the pain that comes with not knowing you come from the absolute most incredible beauty, abundance, and joy, and getting stuck in a human experience. And I also know what it feels like to get out of that and to realize who we really are and what we really are and what's inside all of us. Unconditional, pure love and potential. And that's why I do it, man, because I feel like the world now especially needs it more than ever with social media, with seeing only highlight reels when we're getting scrolling on our phone. You know how it goes, man. You sit here thinking everyone's got their
Yeah.
life figured out, it's perfect. And little do we know, man, we're all figuring it out together, you know? And so to remind ourselves of that and to come back within versus looking around is the key in my opinion. And so that's why I do it.
Love that. So, looking at your website, the last coach you'll ever need. So, that's a bold statement, but as a copywriter, I love that as well.
Yeah.
But tell me what you see in that other coaches might miss or neglect that doesn't create the result that's desired in the client.
Yeah, great question. So with a lot of my work, NLP, we talked about this earlier, but NLP certified. I've spent a lot of times in men's group with Tony Robbins courses. I'm learning under Tony Robbins right now. And I've spent a lot of time figuring out like how in the heck do we become happy as human beings? Because I've been so unhappy, really is where it came from. And so what I feel is missing with a lot of people is it's just like the healthcare system right now. We focus so heavily on the symptoms versus going to the root cause. When we can take care of the root, everything else takes care of itself. And so with my coaching philosophy, it's like, yeah, you're going through all of this. You've got depression, you've got anxiety, you don't feel like you're enough, you're having all these hard times, you can't get out of this funk. Let's not focus so much on what you're going through. That will naturally take care of itself when we figure out and dive into where this came from. Where did the human mind, when you were a little boy or a little girl, begin to condition themselves and start to believe these stories from other people or believe these stories from yourself that made you forget how brilliant and magnificent you actually are? And so that's my philosophy, bro. It's like let's go in. We use all sorts of modalities, right? Breath work, somatics, NLP, neuroscience. I mean, they're all of it is getting us back to the same common reality, which is within all of us, we are fully enough. We have everything we could possibly need, everything we could possibly desire. The external does not take care of the internal. The internal takes care of the external. And whenever that light bulb clicks, that's when a lot of this stuff that has been attached to us for so long begins to naturally dissipate and fade, and we can come back to our truth versus living into an illusion.
So, could you share a moment where that switch happened for you? So,
Yeah.
like, if you read a lot of like self-help content online on Instagram or in books, you can have that intellectual knowledge of something,
Yes.
but it isn't internalized. You can read like so many times about, okay, we are the source, we are one, but actually knowing with every fiber in your being that we are one, that we
Mm,
are that source. So, how have you come to that switch, or
yeah.
how do you create that switch for other
I
people?
love that. Information without emotion is rarely maintained. Something I think
Mm.
about a lot. So getting in the right state and being able to feel these things is really important. So to answer your question, so I've worked with plant medicine in the past, and I was also an addict for 3 or 4 years. I was on pain pills. I was in a very dark place. No one knew about it. I was doing cocaine. I was doing things where I'm like, who am I? Who have I become? What has happened to me? Right. And I had my own business. My dad passed away. And April 20th, 2020, I remember a voice speaking to me so loudly. I didn't know what it was. It's like, I've heard of intuition. I didn't grow up going to church or anything like that. I believed that there is a God at the time, but I'm like, I didn't know anything about what a relationship felt like with the divine. But I kept hearing this voice over and over and over again, just saying to me, like, if you learn how to get through this, if you grow through this, you will then be able to teach others how to do the same. And it just like kept coming in over and over. And I'm like, what is this? And this is the time where I had tried to stop 20 times with Phil and would continue to go back when things would get hard. And that day, April 20th, 2020, the voice became so loud, I stopped everything cold turkey. Like right then and there, you could have talked to 1,000 doctors and every single one of them would have said, this is not a safe strategy. Let's make sure you're under supervision before doing anything like this, right? Because the body got so used to creating dopamine and being able to operate on this substance that is unbelievably addictive. I didn't know how to be happy any other way. And so that right there was when my journey started of healing and unraveling and letting go of all these things that had happened to me. And just like we talked about earlier, it's like, yeah, okay, I was an addict, but why? What caused me to get there? What am I trying to suppress? What pain has been hidden for so long that I had to use an external substance to fix the internal? And it was, looking back on it now, that was a moment when I heard God's voice. I heard my higher self, whatever we want to call it, the universe. There's all sorts of different names for permission slips that we have for the divine and how the divine works through us. But that's whenever I had my first, like, okay, there's a bigger power speaking to us at all times, but we have to be in a position where we can finally listen, where we can have leverage. And sometimes leverage comes with a lot of pain, comes with a lot of heartache, comes with us going down a path for so long that we've done it enough to where it's like we know we can't move forward anymore. And after that point, that's when my healing journey began. I spent the next 6 to 9 months going through very deep withdrawal symptoms and working through and learning how to get back to homeostasis. Like, how do I become a happy human from eating, from walking outside, with playing with my dogs? Because I only knew how to be happy from taking those pills and working for 16 hours a day. That was the only thing I knew. And then working out and doing CrossFit. And so after that point, then like I said earlier, I started men's groups. I started working with healers, intuitive healers, other coaches. Like, I just became obsessed with what got me here and what are other people doing to like be okay in this wild experience that we call life. I became fascinated by it. And then through some retreats down in Costa Rica, I also sat with Mother Aya. And during that time too, here's the thing. I'm the first one to tell you, man, no plant medicine is just going to cure you or heal you or make everything go away. What it can do, and there's a lot of people who can get that twisted. It can be a total bypass of what the real work's supposed to be. Life is the truest ceremony there is. But I will say this, with my work with the medicine and being around the right crews and the right people and the right mentors as I did it, I was able to experience and feel the divine in such a beautiful way that it reminded me from everything I've gone through. It's like, okay, I know the divine's always been there. Now I can feel the divine. I can see when the divine's doing the work, doing the magic. And the divine's always been doing it, but I've been so up here in the monkey brain that I've been missing out on it so long. And so now, bro, it's just like this exploration of how do I quiet the mind, come to the heart, and listen. That's really what it is. We get so distracted. This dang phone right here, it takes us away from the ability to communicate. Back in the day, indigenous people didn't have ChatGPT or Google. What did they do? They would go sit on a rock. They would be with the land. They would be with earth, which is God. Everything around is God when you come into nature. And they would sit and they would receive. And so now that's been a big part of my work, brother. It's like, how can I go out? How can I limit the distractions, limit the limitations of the mind, observe the mind, witness the mind, and then be able to receive whatever information needs to come to me and trust that that is from a much higher power that has a much greater plan than the mind could ever come up with.
So to piggyback on what you're saying, or we should just like create a framework for anybody listening
Yeah,
because everybody is feeling stressed. So
totally.
if you could coach somebody that is just coming to you and you in 5 minutes can just give him the game plan
I love it.
to just like remove all that fucking stress that
Yes.
is going on.
Yes.
And even though I know that you should like wind down, wear blue blockers,
Uh-huh.
avoid EMF.
Yes.
I found myself at the hospital just a couple of months ago due to stress. I had no idea what was happening to my
Hmm.
heart. I was just like trying to crush it and work and just like override like my capacity because I just do cold plunges and
Yeah.
I eat clean food and I can like state control and I just can push and push and
Yeah,
push.
totally.
And I just like pushed it too far. So when do you go like mad Tony Robbins, don't sleep and just push? And when do you just like need to chill the fuck out
Yeah.
and like recover?
It's such a
What's the game plan here, brother?
it's I do
This
feel
will
like
be like a separate clip,
yeah,
5 minutes clip on like how to get rid of stress. Bam, out on YouTube.
I love that. I love it. Yeah, there is a big difference depending on who you're talking to. I'll say that. There's some people who only
Yeah.
need a few hours of sleep, and there's some people who need balance, who need rest. If I could give you a framework, it would be bored more. Be bored more,
Mm.
okay? Why do I
Be
say that?
bored more. What a slogan.
Yeah, be bored more. We have what's called a default mode network, okay? And when we get on our phone and when we have things going on in the background, when we're thinking about the past or we're thinking about the future, the default mode network is on and it's taking up an immense amount of our energy. We know what it's like. We get on our phone, we're going through, and the next thing we know, we've been on there for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and it's like, oh my God, I feel so out of my body. I don't feel correct. I can feel something turning up here in my mind. I'm not connected to my breath. I don't know how deeply I'm breathing. Let's keep it simple, right? Like we've gone away from all these things. And I do the saunas, the cold plunges. There's things that are effective and we should totally take advantage of them. And let's remember what we just came into the world with and what's been around for so long, being in nature more, going on walks more, having a phone box. I literally have a box when I want to put my phone away. I'll put it in there and I'll lock it in there. And the only way I can get it out is if I have to crush it and break the box completely open. So learning how to be bored more, being with yourself more, that's how we can receive more from the divine and be able to listen more. Because when we're up here too much and we're focusing so much on the future, it's cliche, but we've heard it, man. It's like we really are. We're taking away from the gift of the moment. And in the moment is the only time we can fully take in what we're supposed to receive in that moment so we can take the next best step. You know, one of my favorite quotes is if you want life's magic, follow the energy. The energy can only be received when? Now, in this moment. We can go into the future and we can think about everything that we want, everything that can happen, and that's great. We go there and that's a tool. We want to use that. We can go into the past and think about what we did, be gentle with ourselves for NLP techniques and change the story if we want to change our past and change the reframe of what that means to us so that little boy or little girl inside of us can think differently. We can do all those things, but the key is not to stay there, right? The key is to create balance. And the greatest way I've found to create balance is to be bored more and to spend more time with yourself. If you've got animals, spend with them. If you have nature, be in nature more. Put your feet in the grass more. We come from earth. Earth literally can heal us. It lowers our inflammation by up to 60, 70%. Yet most people don't touch earth for 2, 3 weeks at a time. So we've gotten so disconnected from our bodies and our minds, from our truest sense, our truest nature, that it's time for a shift if we want to come back to what we actually are, what we're made of, while still being able to use technology, while still being able to use all these awesome things that are coming in. My philosophy is like, it's here now. Let's use it. Let's use AI. Let's use all these things that can optimize and help us spread goodness to the world. And let's also remember our roots. the basics, putting feet in the grass, hanging out with family, having a community. If you have a partner, being present with them, having date night each week, finding time to let go of what the brain thinks you need to do and to be in the fight or flight, and just come back to the breath. It's there always. It's so simple. Just breathe in. And so that's a long framework, but it's like focus on being bored more, focus on listening more, focus on finding stillness and silence more, because in the silence, it's the loudest answers you'll ever receive. And so it all starts with this, brother. Like it really does. This phone right here, you got to create structure around the discipline of your phone so you can also nourish yourself so you can nourish your world.
And do you have like times
Yeah.
for when you're using the
Yeah.
phone? So could you share a little bit around that?
Yeah.
Just like
So I
if somebody can just like focus on phone
totally.
usage and pull that down, they
That's
will
so
just like
important, man. Yeah.
automatically feel so much better.
And then your brain will naturally find other things to work on. You'll be like, okay, well, I don't have my phone right now, so what can I do? I can do something that's fun. I can work out. I can go do this. It creates opportunities that otherwise wouldn't be there because you're so attached and you're in the default mode network, right? First thing in the morning, first hour, I do not touch my phone. My goal for the morning, I've got a handful of different morning routines I do. I like to drink my celery juice. I like to make my green tea. I like to make my hibiscus tea. And then I just like to be in silence. And then I'll do Qigong, I'll do Kundalini, I'll do these things that I just move the body, focus on observing the mind. So like if there's some mornings, we all know how it goes. There's a lot more thoughts that come in. It's all good. Let's find a little bit more silence in the morning, even if it's for 20 minutes. Let's just observe them. Let's not give them power. Let's witness what these are. Let's move the body a little bit. Let's create momentum. Let's move the chi around, the prana that's inside all of us, and let's shake it off. Let's change the state that we're in. Because when we're in a habit of just waking up and immediately going on our phones, instantly we're in fight or flight. We immediately go into a state of needing dopamine, needing notifications, needing to see things a certain way. Then our brain is now set up for the entire day to want to feed off that, because the brain says, okay, that made me feel good. Dopamine. I want more dopamine throughout the day. If we can lower the dopamine state in the morning by giving ourself nourishment, that always allows us to set up a beautiful day, have more centered, be able to focus on our breath more, focus on just being present more, which is really what it comes down to. And then my other advice is like, buy one of those. It's $20, $30 on Amazon. Buy a little box you can put your phone in. And if you know you're on it, throw that sucker in there and just like let it be off for 30 minutes. Even 30 minutes, like what you can do without your phone for 30 minutes is amazing. It'll bring you back to your center. It brings you back to parasympathetic response to where your nervous system feels relaxed. And now you're in a state to where once you get your phone back, you can stay focused and you can rock and roll on whatever the task is ahead of you.
You just made the phone like seem like a piece of stress-inducing poison.
So
I love that.
it is, and it's also a gift that we can use for unbelievable good. It's both. How do we use it
It's
is our
both.
question.
It's both.
Yeah, bro. Because I mean, I can reach in one day tens of thousands of people on this phone that can put a seed in them that can change their perspective. Changes how they show up for their partner, how they show up for their kids, how they show up with life, right? And I can also use this to compare myself, to think about how far I'm behind, to look at other coaches and be like, man, he's doing that. His website looks like this. It's just like anything. AI can be used. Everything's good or bad. The question becomes is how do we use it? And that's the most important question we have to ask ourselves is like, how are we using this little phone? There's apps that you can have gratitude come in, Bible verses if you're into that. You can have whatever there's so much good on this thing. And just like everything in life, there's the law of balance. There's so much bad. The contrast is there. So where we put our focus it's everything, truly.
Yeah, it's like saying like that the brain is bad, but it depends on how you use your
That's
brain.
right, bro.
Yeah.
That's so right. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how we connected on Instagram. And
Yeah,
like
man.
most of the content I've seen from you has to do with relationship and masculinity. What made you pivot into like working with relationship and masculinity specifically?
Well, when I was 11, my parents got divorced. It turned my world upside down. Me and my mom are so close now, but I had lost my mom for almost a decade. And being an 11-year-old boy, my dad was trying to mend a broken heart. My brother just turned 16. I was left alone at my house a lot, way more than an 11-year-old boy should have been. And during that time, I didn't know it, but it clearly created a deep feminine wound inside of me. And then I saw how my dad, how he started going out in the world and how he started not treating women, but looking at women. It wasn't like we were seeing them as this beautiful expression of God. It was more so like, okay, yeah, she's beautiful. So what can I do here, right? It wasn't what it should have been. And I learned that at a very young age. And so my view on the feminine energy was very broken. I wouldn't let them in. I had guards up because my little boy inside of me had this ideology that if I give a woman all my love, which is what I did with my mom, love my mom so much, still love my mom so much, but that little boy saw that if he gives all of his love, then that love can be taken and just can go away just like that. And your whole world can be turned upside down. And so each relationship I had, man, moving forward was that we would create this beauty inside the relationship up to a certain point, and there was infinite amounts more above, but I would stop here because I'm like, okay, now they're getting to know me a little bit more. Let's build my walls. Let's make sure my walls are sturdy. And we can either stay here if they're cool with that, but if they try to go past these walls, I'm out every time. And that happened with every partner I had up until my wife, now Alexandra. And man, I tell you what, once I learned how to work with myself and realize it was never the feminine energy, but how I was perceiving them and focusing on healing that little boy versus trying to find the perfect woman or one that could break the walls down. It was always my responsibility to break the walls down, to change the perspective, to let go of the chains that were holding me back from being able to love at the fullest capacity. I realized how important it is for men, especially, to be able to go back, heal the little boy, because the little boy is inside all of us, Morgan. It's like there is a little one in us. Whenever we're in a fight with our partner, it's not you and I in this conversation coming out and speaking when the ego gets hit. The ego is just another way for saying the little boy that has not been healed and has not been given what he deserves and desires and what he never had back then. That's all the ego is for the man and the woman. And once I started diving into that and doing my own work within myself and realizing, wait a minute, I am the common denominator with all of this stuff, I realized how beautiful owning your masculine energy, owning your leadership, owning facing yourself, and then finding a woman who can help complement you in that can be for someone's life. I've been in a position where I've been somewhat happy without a partner, but then I see what it's like to be with a partner that you're committed to, that reflects you, that sees your potential when you don't see your potential, and who's always going to reflect back to you your leadership, right? That's what our partners do. They're constantly letting us know, hey, my reaction towards you, most of the time, especially if you're with a woman who is also doing the work and who's conscious and not operating out of what I call shadows, which is also inner child wounds. If you've got a woman who's also on the path facing herself, she is always going to show you what's going on in your own internal world and showing you what your leadership is like within the relationship. And that, once it clicked to me, man, it's like, oh my God, now I have this constant gauge, this compass to lead me to be the king of my world at all times. And I want to be able to give that gift to as many men as I possibly can, because I fully believe that the feminine energy, when we have a partner in our life, the yin and the yang, right, that can really fulfill these parts that we can't with just ourselves, life gets so much more interesting, so much more beautiful. Everything expands and she multiplies all the gifts. And so it's been this exploration, brother, of just like realizing that a partnership is our greatest opportunity for leadership.
And I want to dive deeper into your previous pattern where you said that you could like find beauty in the relationship, but just until a certain
Yeah.
point. And did you have a rhythm of time where you were in the relationship and then you had to either sabotage or leave the relationship and then move on to the next one? For example, if you were in a relationship for like 5 months or 7 months and then you repeated the cycle 7 months and then again 7 months or
Yeah, yeah,
something along those lines. Did you have that?
yeah,
And how did it look for you?
yeah. So a relationship is always going to expose the parts of you that you have not been willing to face and heal. Always. And so whenever that would come into a relationship, that piece, whenever I would have to start showing vulnerability or emotions that I wanted to show, but as a little teenager or young 20-year-old, I was like, wait a minute, that's not a man. Men don't show emotions. Men are strong. As soon as my heart would begin to open, that was the time for me internally, the little boy's like, let's get out. Now you're going to give love. You're going to give love like you gave to your mom, full, open, honest love to the feminine expression. And she could take it all from you and turn your world upside down. And that pain that I went through from a little boy was constantly just there. Like, hey, wait a minute. Don't go too far into this. You know what happens when you do.
Were you aware of this, or was it just like
No, not
a
until I started doing the work.
weird feeling, which is just
Yeah.
like in the shadows, you can't like see it really, and you just like start to
Yeah.
sabotage or just
You're not aware of it. That's why the work is so important. That's why facing ourselves and being around other brothers and finding a modality that works with you is so important, because a lot of time this is subconscious that we're going through. We're operating out of subconscious wounds that are in place to give one of our highest human needs, which is certainty. Right? We need certainty that it's a survival need, that we're not going to feel hurt like we did back then. Right? We go down the street. Let's say someone sees something dangerous like a snake. Well, now the need of certainty, every time we walk down a street or even that same street, that need to stay safe around something that looks similar to where we saw a deadly snake, it comes in. And the same thing happens when we go through trauma when we're kids. Our brain develops a safety net, a wall, a way of living and thinking that is protecting us. It has good intentions, but that has one goal in mind. Let's not ever get to this point ever again, because this was painful. We don't like pain. We like pleasure. We like happiness. Let's stay away from that.
avoid the pain.
That's right.
And from the period where you were unconscious about your patterns up until today, what are some of your biggest new beliefs about relationships? And I heard something that I hear in so many like relationship coaching circles and in content, that you meet a person that shows the wounds that you need to heal. That is like that's and okay, we have that on the left side, and on the right side we have Tony Robbins. If you have you gone through the Ultimate Relationship Program with Tony and Sage?
I have not. No, I want to.
So
Yeah.
so do that, and where he says like one of the first and most important principles is selecting the right person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if when you select the right person that you're gonna have all of these wounds in yourself showing up.
Yeah.
So those, I don't know if, in your opinion, if they are in conflict with each other, or yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
like
It's a great question.
dropping the mic and letting
It's
you
a
take
great
over.
question. So I'll speak on this, the law of reflections.
Yeah. Because it's a belief I'm having a hard time to just
Yeah.
like, really, should I just like suffer and face my demons when I
Yeah.
need to wipe my son's diapers
Yes.
and clean him off and run a business and all of this shit I need to take care of. You know, life is going on, life is happening.
Yeah, 100%, brother. It's always happening. So choosing the right person also can mean a lot of the time choosing someone who's going to bring out the deepest parts of you that need healing. I do not believe that we're just going to find someone who never ever fights, who never, maybe we didn't go through trauma. Maybe there's nothing to expose. Can it happen? Sure. But for most of the clients I've ever worked with through men's groups, we are exposed from our partners. They just show us where the work is. If we're getting triggered in a moment, if they're saying they need something more from us, and instead of us listening to them, saying, baby, okay, so what I hear you saying is this, and using something like imago therapy or having an open heart and really putting ourselves in their perspective, or if we're going immediately to, wait a minute, shit, I don't feel enough. She's telling me I'm not doing enough. Why does she not see everything else I'm doing? I'm doing all these other things, and now she's pointing out what I'm not doing. Bam. There, right there, is your work. She is reflecting back to you what is going on in your own world, because there's something in you that also believes that it's true. If you didn't, you would not be getting frustrated by it. So she's quite literally showing you exactly what you need to hear if you're getting triggered by it, and what you need to work on, focus on, and shift in your own way of thinking. And most of the time, that trailhead will always lead back to the little boy that's inside of you. There is a little boy that at a certain point did not feel appreciated, didn't feel understood. And a big one and a common one is did not feel like he was enough. And we talked about Tony Robbins earlier. It's like, what are our two greatest fears in life? The fear of not being enough, and then the fear of not being loved because of it. I have found with men especially, this is so true. And so when we have a partnership where we're having our wife or our girlfriend bring stuff out to us that is hitting something inside of us that is making us triggered, we now have a few options. One, we can respond from the ego. We can respond from the little boy. Then we'll spend the next week or 2 weeks or months in repair, trying to come back, or we'll suppress it. And then we'll let it build. We'll let it build. And then one day, shit, damn it, all that just came out. Now I'm going to have to repair for the next 6 months. It's a habit that we're all in. Or we can look at it. We can take leadership from ourselves, take radical responsibility and say, okay, let's not even think about what she's saying. Maybe there's some truth to what she's saying. If I'm getting upset with it, maybe I need to focus on why I'm so triggered by what she just said. And then trust in this. If the law of reflections as well, is like, if we can heal that part of us, if we begin to feel enough, and then I take clients to this all the time. How do we feel enough? Like, how do we go through it? How do we make sure every day we're feeling enough? If we can do that, my bet, 10 times out of 10, she will not make you feel as if you're not enough. If you feel it internally. Remember what I said at the beginning of this call, brother. It's like the internal takes care of the external. The external does not take care of the internal. So just because our wife's telling us like how proud of us she is and how much we're enough, it's great. But if we don't believe it inside, what do? It's just, it kind of hits us and goes away. When we believe it and they say that, boom, now she's planting more seeds. Now that man, because he believes it in himself first, is able to rise up into the king, the warrior, the lover, the magician, and take total leadership of his life and everybody that's in his life as well.
Amen. Guys, I don't usually drop ads here, but this one's different. And here's the truth. Most men don't grow because they try to do it all alone. I've done it for 20 years, all on my own. It gave me some success, but not at the level that I truly desired and knew I was capable of. But life doesn't work that way. We get sharper, stronger, and more alive when we're surrounded by other men who challenge us, back us up, and push us to keep going. And that is why I created Dude Tribe, and that is what it's all about. It's a brotherhood, a real community of men who are choosing to design a life on our own terms and to grow in confidence, to feel strong and at home in our own bodies. You know, I speak a lot about embodiment on these podcasts, and also to get a clear vision and what is the mission, why are you here, and why do you do what you do. And for the guys who are ready to take it even deeper, we're opening applications for the Manhood Mastery Program. It's a year-long journey inside the tribe. You'll build unshakable confidence, real physical strength, and a life direction so clear it feels like your compass just finally clicked into place. So this isn't about flexing, it's about becoming the happiest, strongest, most grounded version of yourself, together with brothers who want the same thing. And I'm only gonna have 20 guys joining. We're gonna be this freaking amazing wolf pack. So if you feel the pull from this, go to freedude.co and find the community tab, join, apply, and don't wait and see if you're meant to be part of this pack. All right, let's continue with the show. And to the question about beliefs, what are the biggest beliefs or new beliefs since you've done the work yourself
New belief. So
about relationship and masculinity?
just like I said, it's all a reflection. Our partners are reflecting to us where we need the deepest work. Everything comes from the little boy or the little girl. That's where we have to put our focus on. We have to focus on the little one within us that needs what they never received from their parents or from their environment when they were young. A relationship is the most powerful teacher in the world. Our relationship, our partner, is the most secure way to have access to the divine as well. Through intimacy, through sex, through just presence with them. If we can learn to see our partner like God sees us, like we see our children, everything in the world begins to change. One of the last ones, there's many more, but the last one I'll leave you with is all of it starts with you. This is a hard one to take in, but it does. All of it starts with you, because here's the thing. If you shift, I promise you, there's a very good chance your partner is going to shift as well, especially if you're the man, you're the masculine container, and you hold the leadership. If they don't shift, the universe is speaking to you in a beautiful way, letting you know, like, hey, this person, if they're not willing to do the work, they're not in alignment to be in your world as well, right? But take the responsibility for you. Don't try to change them. Work on changing you, your beliefs, your values, whatever's causing this trigger to come up. And that will ultimately take care of not just the relationship, but everything in your life as well.
And you coach both women and men, right?
Yeah.
And when you get men that have issues with their relationships, what are some of their beliefs that you see are hindering them or causing them like massive pain?
A lot of it comes down to feeling like they're being nagged all the time by their partner.
Yeah. And what's the truth? Or that's their belief that
That's their belief.
My woman is nagging.
Yeah. And the truth is there's not an art of being able to set the tone and with an open heart, talk to your partner and understand where she's coming from, because it's never what's on the surface, man. It is always what's beneath it. And it's an art to learn how to communicate with them. Something I do constantly. It's like, if I can feel a shift in my partner, it's, baby, like, what's on your heart right now? And then she's like, oh, nothing, baby. Hey, I got you. We're on the same team. You and I. Like, it's us against the world. We can't have it me against you, you against me, and then the world. That's way too much to handle. We're on the same team. What's on your heart? Giving her a safe place to open up, to be able to say what she needs to hear. And when she gives me feedback, especially if it's about me, go to second position, not first. What do I mean by that? First position is seeing it through my perspective. Second position is seeing it through hers. Put yourself in her shoes. I talked about this earlier too, man. It's like imago therapy. We have to learn how to have art of frameworks. Imago therapy is a framework of what I'm hearing you.
How do you spell that?
Imago, I-M-A-G-O.
I-M-A-G-O. Imago.
Yeah, imago. Yeah.
Yeah, like image.
Yeah. And I've created one more step on this as well. So first step is, okay, I hear what you're saying. So what you're saying is this, right? Someone comes to your partner, says, oh, you're not doing that. Okay, let's get out of my ego. Let's get out. Little boy, take a back seat. The man's stepping up. What I'm hearing you say is this. Okay. Now, the second piece is, that makes sense, because, so now you're putting yourself in her shoes even more. That makes sense, because if I was in your shoes and I felt that way, even though I don't see it that way, I would have, that would have upset me too. I can understand why you'd be sad or not feel like I'm giving you attention. So we've got the first two steps, and then the last step on this, what I have a fourth step as well. The last one is I imagine. So I imagine that made you feel X or Y or whatever it did. And so now what happens when you do something so simple like this, Morgan? They now feel, oh my God, he understands me. And the feminine wants to be understood so much. This is a being that's going through a cycle every month to prepare to have a baby. Men do not understand what women go through. We just don't. We're like this, brother. They're literally like this. One week you're going to get a little butterfly. The next week you're going to get a storm coming in, and it's natural. It's God expressing itself just like nature expresses itself. We don't cry whenever there's a thunderstorm or get upset. We know it's nature. It is what it is. So we have to respect that, especially if it's just a natural expression, not our shadows. So that was the third step. Now the fourth step is, how can I, as the man, create a solution? So yeah, we've got this. You've understood. So what I'm hearing you say is this. Well, okay, that makes sense because of this, right? I imagine you feel this way. Now here's how we can move forward together. You do something that simple, brother. Each
Do
time,
you offer the solution?
yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. Do you offer the solution, or do you just like shut up and listen because they want to be listened
No,
to?
never, ever. Only here's what I've learned is only the man mind wants to fix immediately. It's our logic. That's where we operate.
That's why I'm asking,
Yeah.
like, if you're offering a solution,
No.
because I heard also, like, Dr. John Gray, that's a friend of Tony Robbins, the guy that wrote Mars and Venus. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. That if you're just listening to a woman and she just feels heard, you don't need to have any solution. That is the solution
Yes,
itself,
exactly.
and transformation and healing happens within the female
Exactly.
body on a biological level
Yep.
when you just listen to her.
100%. And so when I talk about a solution, it's not saying, "Hey, okay, this is what needs to happen." What you're saying is you're just
Okay.
taking full responsibility at the end of it and say, "Okay, like I get that you said that. Moving forward, you're putting it all on you. How are you going to
All
take
right.
ownership? Not the solution of anything she has to do."
Thank you for
Yeah,
clarifying
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. Great
All
question
right.
on
Great.
that.
Great.
So you just say, "Baby, look, moving forward, like I now see that. I can see how that upsets you. What I'm going to do is this moving forward." It's just a simple solution. So now she feels heard and she knows, okay, I feel safe because my man has stepped up. He's created structure, he's created leadership. I What do you want from me? I'm here to multiply all your gifts. You do something as simple as that, bam, it can cause the most beautiful transformations in your relationship you could ever imagine.
Beautiful. And I want to continue with like how you have transformed within like your own relationship, and now you're married.
Thank you,
Congratulations. For how
brother.
long?
Say that
Yeah.
again.
For how long have you been married?
Dude, very short, like 2 months.
Very short.
Yeah, we just got,
2 months.
yeah.
Congratulations. We'll need to have a follow-up
We
podcast
will,
on
we will, and especially when kids come in and everything else. Yeah.
when kids come in. So you'll interview me about that journey.
I may need you to put you on speed dial, brother.
Yeah,
What do I
brother.
do?
Yeah, so you'll get my WhatsApp.
There we go. I love it.
So I've been diving deep into parenting like for many years,
Yeah,
even
man. I
before I
love
had
that.
kids. That's a super interesting topic as well. But I want to get your thoughts about what understanding of women have helped you just navigate a relationship.
Brother. Good
So
question.
I know there's so many questions mark about like that's why the men are from Mars and women are from Venus, because it feels like we are from like
Different
two different
creatures.
planets.
Yeah.
We are like living with an alien sometimes. So what understanding of a woman have like really helped you and also your clients?
Yeah. See women like nature. See them like nature has been one of the biggest game changers for me. We have seasons, man, and she
Bro, I'm taking notes.
when she has winter going on, do not be looking for spring. It's like, no, how would God look at the most natural cycle of nature? It is what it is, right? It is perfect exactly how it is. And I'm not talking about, again, having her respond out of an inner wound or shadows. That's when leadership needs to come in. And just like I said earlier, hey, I got you. We're on the same team. We're not going to be doing this to each other. We're going to figure this out with one another, but we're not going to be casting our little boy, little girl on each other. Okay. And I believe as a man, set the tone with that, set the standards, have those agreements in place. And then after that, hold space, be the mountain for her expression. What does a mountain do, Brother Morgan, in a storm? It is
Yeah, what does
rooted.
it do?
It doesn't move. It says, whatever you got, I'm here to hold all of it, right? She's like, I've said this before, but she's like this river that's just sometimes going at a nice little pace. Sometimes she's absolutely overflowing. You need to be the bank of the river. Hold steady, hold her, let her emotions go through it. Make sure she knows one thing: I've got you. I can hold you. And if she knows that, that's when the true feminine gifts begin to come into your life in a way that you have to earn it though. You have to earn that. That's not something that's just given to you. It is, we talk about like respect has to be earned. The feminine gifts have to be earned from a man as well. You can't just get them. And I
Mm.
think a lot of people expect them to just give them feminine gifts. Oh, I need your softness. Oh, I want this from you. I want your openness, without willing to do the work before. You do the work, and then I promise you, you give her consistency with presence, with structure, with being able to express, with creating leadership and structure, with agreements and how we treat each other. You do those simple things, man, and in due time, you've got a woman who will literally magnify everything in your life times
Mm.
infinity.
And if you would coach a dude that have an issue with this, just being the mountain, being there, he feels like he's being castrated when the woman is nagging or yelling or raising her voice at him. What would you suggest for him to believe or have as a self-talk when it's going on? Because if you've seen Tony Robbins doing like couples work, he often challenges the man to face the woman and just like internally tell her to just like bring it,
Yeah, yes,
bring more,
yes.
come on, bring it, bring the storm.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm here.
yeah.
Just like facing that,
Face it.
like
Yeah,
just like
face it head on. And what I would tell men is like we call it practice for a reason. When I meditate, I'm practicing. When I'm doing
mm,
hard things, I'm practicing. What am I practicing for?
the storm.
The storm, brother. And it's not just our
Yeah,
relationship, it's life.
yeah.
Yeah, it's everything. So the first thing I would tell a client is like let's develop and establish a practice. Let's keep it simple, but a practice that's going to push you a little bit. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but what's going to allow you to come back to your center, to consolidate, and to be able to hold it, to root down deep, to hold it. And from there, we can create beautiful change. Because if she can feel your presence during that time and you're just focusing on deep belly breaths coming in and out, she can feel that. Now you're energetically connecting with her, right? That is how you create the deepest trust with your partner. But you have to practice it. So you can practice it with them while you're going through it. That's great. But I'm a practitioner. So I'm working on meditation. I'm working on doing harder things constantly. And it doesn't matter what it is. It's like maybe doing something hard is jumping in a cold plunge or whatever, like going on a run or sitting down and doing work, whatever's going to create discomfort that you can breathe through it and continue going. That is also going to be transformed and transmuted with your partner. So establish a practice, make it count. One of my favorite practices in the world is silence and stillness. Learn how to meditate. If you can do that, you can focus on that, you can anchor into that, and then be able to bring that into the storms anytime you want. And now you become quite literally the mountain who can focus on your breath, focus on perspective. And then you're so conscious in that time, you're not hitting the ego or the little boy. You can then give her, you can lead in a way that you could never, never, ever lead if you're up here in your mind, right? It's really focusing on how do I come back to the body? And you establish that practice, brother, it takes care of everything else.
Love that. And I also love that frame that practice is like being able to handle the storm.
Totally.
Totally. And if you would suggest for someone who haven't done meditation before, how do they start? Because
Yeah.
I'm a huge believer of meditation that I tell everybody that if you're not meditating, you're wasting life. You will do more of the wrong decisions. You will not
Yeah.
feel what's aligned with you. You will not be in contact with the divine and like get that those whispers in the wind that could
Totally.
guide you in the right directions. You don't hear that.
Yeah.
So you just like go astray
Yeah.
and you might lose like your whole life basically
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
are not in
Totally.
that like connection with the creator. So how would you suggest for someone who's like totally new to meditation, haven't done it before, so what's the first steps?
First week, start with literally 5 minutes of silence and stillness per day. Sit down, put your phone completely away, no music, no anything. Remember, we're creating a little bit of boredom here as well. Sit down and just for 5 minutes, focus and observe and witness the mind. That's all you have to do. If you're thinking that meditation will eventually just turn off your mind, you got another thing coming. The mind is, it's its own entity and it is going and blowing all the time. But what we can do is we can observe the mind. We can witness the mind. We can detach ourselves and realize, wait a minute, the mind is not me. The mind is just there going. It's the most brilliant thing ever, and it's beautiful. But we don't have to let it give power to us, right? We don't have to let it take over us. And how we do that is just observing it and just kind of looking at it as like this. Whenever I'm doing that, whenever I'm in a meditation, I'm just kind of sitting there and I'm kind of just like, wow, this mind is brilliant. What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of something that happened 20 years ago right now. Why? I'm not going to give it power. I'm not going to go down. I'm just going to continue to observe it. And you know what happens when we do that? It rises, stays, and then passes. Then something else goes, rises, passes. When we learn this, that the law of impermanence is always taking place, we realize, like, wait a minute, this too will pass. Whatever I'm viewing right now, it's just passing. And then there's going to be parts of meditation where you're like, it's pure bliss and you feel great. And the mind seems like it's off, and that's awesome. Don't attach to it. Don't cling to it. Just observe that too. And then the next moment, if it starts coming back crazy again, okay, I'm just observing. I'm just witnessing. So start there. Start with 5 minutes a week, observing, witnessing the mind. Don't have anything on. Just be total silence, total stillness. Then the next week or the next 2 weeks, start with 10 minutes and just work your way up. We're not here to like start being a monk from day one, right? We have to like work on this stuff. But when you start, realize that the mind, it's going to be uncomfortable, but have fun with it. I'm such a big believer. We should have fun with all this stuff. It's like, whoa, I've got this mind. Like, this is cool. When I can actually observe it, I'm able to see a whole new world that's going on that I can't see when I'm on my phone, right? Like now this is cool. And then the more we do that, as you know, Morgan, that's when the work can begin. That's when we can start seeing, oh, wait a minute, why is this memory coming up? Why did this happen? Why does this keep going on? And then we follow the trailhead back, and then we can start doing work on that. But start small, brother. Start small, 5 minutes a day. Observe, witness, have fun with it, and just surrender to the silence. And if you do that enough and you continue to build on that, I don't think you need to meditate for hours a day. My true belief, if you can start with like a 15, 20-minute meditation and be fully there and just continue to observe, now you can take that into every area of your life. And no matter how chaotic it's getting with your relationship, with your kids, with anything that's going on, you're building a muscle that now allows you to also observe, witness, and be able to respond in the most conscious manner possible versus based on kind of a chaotic response, based on a wound that may be coming up where it's not our highest alignment.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And what's your meditation practice today?
So mine is sometimes it's longer, but most of the time it's like a 20 to 30 minute pure silent meditation practice. And I'll also say this, you don't need to just sit down. Once you meditate, I do recommend at first sitting down and meditating and really getting that muscle built. But then you can take that and go into nature or go on a walk and meditate there too. And while you're walking, realize like, okay, I'm just witnessing myself walking. I'm also witnessing the mind going and thinking about all of this stuff as well. But you're meditating in that same sense. So once you learn the foundation of meditation, it's applied everywhere. And so a lot of times for me, it's either sitting down and meditating, or it's being in nature, or it's being around my wife, meditating and being fully present in that moment, witnessing what the mind's trying to do, what the little boy that may still need some healing is trying to do. And now meditation becomes life. It's not just like a practice that I'm doing every day. It's literally being able to bring meditation into every area of my life and know that life in itself, if we can stay a witness and an observer and stay conscious within ourselves and stay present, life is the meditation.
Amen. Like I just went into a meditative state. My mind just blanked.
See, bro, you're meditating right now. I love it.
I'm meditating right now because you said you did a Vipassana meditation.
Yeah, I've done two Vipassanas. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the weirdest experience. I think it was on day 3 or 4. That was when I really realized how messy the mind was. Like
Man.
how
Same.
fast, like I could really see the thoughts. It was horrible, but also cool at the same time.
Yeah.
And I, and
That's a good way to put it.
and I heard Dr. John Gray say that it also increases your testosterone if you're a man.
Yeah. Yep.
It increases your testosterone more than if you just like binge watching Netflix, which also could increase your testosterone if you are doing something just that's just like you're just dumbing out your mind. You're doing something that's just, but not scrolling. Scrolling has the opposite
Yeah,
effect
yeah,
of just like
right.
stealing your testosterone.
Yep.
So do you have any other like tips or frameworks for like boosting like male
Mhm.
fertility or male
Totally.
power,
Yeah.
testosterone? Could you share your ideas around
Yeah.
that?
So one thing I'm drinking now, I stopped drinking coffee completely. I'm all green tea. When you look at it, there's a study that
Awesome.
just came out. Men that drink green tea consistently have 45% more testosterone than men who don't drink it. Have more
Really?
longevity. There's so many
Green
benefits. You
tea.
can literally get on Instagram or online and just type in green tea men health benefits and you'll be able to find all the data I'm talking about. It came out probably like a month or two ago. But that's a big one, man. Green tea has helped me a lot and then also stress management. It is without
Yeah,
question the
that's a killer.
yeah, bro. It is and it's like all this stuff we've been talking about leads back to us feeling safe, feeling secure, and feeling like we have momentum in our life. If we can have those things, stress eliminates quite a bit. When we're feeling like, okay, wait, I got to do this, when we start clinging, when we start feeling like we're behind, when we start comparing, naturally we're going to get stressed out. It's not our natural state. And it's okay to stay there because it can create inspiration and it's a beautiful thing. I talk about this all the time. I believe everything has a positive intention, but let's make sure we're not staying there. Like anger is on our team, but let's put anger in the game for like 5, 10 minutes and then let's put anger back on the bench, right? Because anger is here to bring us something very special. And so focusing on stress management, focusing on being in nature more, walking more, getting in saunas, getting in cold plunges, right? Like really moving your body, move your body as often as you can. I wear this watch every day because I'm now just kind of geeked out on how many steps I get. So like if I'm doing
Mm.
something and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, okay, I could be scrolling right now. You know what? Let's get some steps in. Let's go outside and just like move the body. Let's jump around. Let's push some weights around. You don't have to be insanely structured if that's something you're not into, but like just find something that works for you, that limits your stress, that moves your body, and that takes care of your temple. Research, test it out, keep a food diary. Like, what makes me feel good? What makes me feel alive? Like, have fun with this stuff. Experiment with it like you're a scientist and like see what works for you because what works for me may not work for you, Morgan, and vice versa, right? And so it's one of those things where we just have to understand the categories. Our temple comes first. If we are unhealthy, we could have 10,000 problems, brother. We're now unhealthy. We have one problem. Our health is a priority. Take care of the temple, take care of the mind. How do we take care of the mind? Through so many different ways: breath work, meditation, being outside in nature, and then stress management. How do we take care of stress? We get clarity on our lives. That's what I teach a lot of men. We can have so many different things. Let's define our pillars of life. Let's get so clear on like the one or two things that would drive us forward in these pillars of life. And let's just focus on those. That way the other 70 things that are on our mind that we could be doing are there, can get there to another day, but now we know what our focus is. That creates progress. Progress creates momentum. Momentum creates happiness. And now we're not stressed. We're instead inspired. And that naturally is going to increase testosterone as well. Just to know that we're on track, we're stepping into our leadership, and we're becoming the man and living out the purpose we came here to live out.
Great points. And I want to transition into like community, brotherhood, men's group. What's your experience with it?
Yeah.
And if someone is interested in joining a men's group,
Mm.
like what should they look for?
Yeah, man. Men's groups, I think it's one of the most important decisions I've ever made. Imagine just having a mirror being held up to you and showing you where you're not living up to your potential. Like, yeah, your relationship can do that, but a brother can do that in a way that's going to inspire you also to lift you up and say, okay, I am playing small. I do have more inside of me. And that's what brotherhood does. It is literally like holding up a mirror. And a lot of people nowadays, man, we get independence confused with isolation. Isolation is not independence. The lone wolf it's a myth, man. Like it doesn't work in today's society. Brothers need brothers. We need to be sharpened. And so my recommendation for anybody, it's like, what is men's work? When you hear that and you don't know, if you've never done men's work, you're like, dude, that sounds a little weird. I'm not really into men's work, you know? It's kind of like a taboo for a lot of men. But once you learn what it actually is, it's just facing yourself, it's having challenges, and it's growing and being inspired by other men. That's what men's work is. That can be done when we're back in high school or college, being on a football team or a soccer team or any type of team. That's men's work. We're now part of something that's bigger than us. We're working on ourselves. We're being inspired by those around us. We're challenged and we're growing. We're progressing. You give that to a man, he is good to go. And men's work provides that, man. And so I've worked with a few different men's groups. One of the guys I highly recommend is John Wineland. He's a phenomenal coach. He learned from a guy named David Data. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, I've
No, but
also learned from 13 Pines. They're all part of the John Wineland lineage as well. They learned from John, and it's younger guys that have their own men's group. And, I'm going to be starting my own men's group as well. It's like there's a timing for it. I've been going through a lot of this stuff. I'm going through John's teacher training program to really learn and to create my own sauce with it. And that's my next step, man. Outside of my coaching and my courses, I want to be having men's groups and then being able to bring people to relationship courses and retreats as well, to really allow ourselves, one, to work on ourselves, but then let's bring our partner in so we can work on it together. So there's a lot out there, man. There's local men's groups as well. You can get on Google, type in, or chat GPT, hey, what are the best men's groups that I can join, free or paid, in my area? And you'll be so surprised by how many there are. And just give it a shot. Go test it out. And if it feels right, trust that nudge is inside of you for a reason.
cool.
Yeah.
And how will you structure your men's group? Is it going to be online,
It'll
in
be
real
both.
life?
Both. It'll be online. We'll do practices online, and then we'll have events. Probably 6 to 8 months. We'll see as far as what it's going to be, but it'll be online where we meet as a collective, and then we'll have some spots that we go to inside the United States that we all meet up and just do epic men's work together in beautiful nature, and just be able to have. You give a man demand, like no demand in nature, that man is going to thrive. That's going to recalibrate that man. So it'll be being in nature, having time to just like feel the divine as we're there, but also having clear work and practices that really bring you together, step you outside of your comfort zone, and allow you to level up in every area of your life.
A lot of, like, maybe it's just here in Sweden, but like
Is that where you're
they say
located,
that,
Sweden?
yeah, I'm in
Nice,
Sweden.
bro.
So we relocated to Portugal, moved back. So we're like in this transition phase,
That's so
but
cool.
right now we're in Sweden, and there's this belief that men just need to open up more and be vulnerable. But I also see on the other side that men need to be like just like stronger, more assertive, more focused, more driven. Like, how do you balance
Hmm.
like a man between like being vulnerable? Does he need to be vulnerable? Does
Yeah.
he need to share like every single wound that he's feeling or that is
Yeah.
like purging out of him? Like, what is this balanced man? How
Yeah.
does it look like in your opinion?
In my opinion, the balanced man is the four archetypes. We have the king, who stewards the land, takes care of the people, creates structure, creates unbelievable leadership, highly connected with the divine, and everything he's doing is based on the greater good and not putting himself first. That's the first archetype. The second is the warrior. The warrior is the dude who can get it done. You talked earlier about just like going Tony Robbins mode. That's stepping into like the warrior piece that's in all of us. And to be able to knock things out and to hit deadlines and to just like whatever it takes, I'm going to make it happen. The third piece is going to be the lover. There's a part of us that's the lover. Think about how you are, Morgan, with your children and with your partner. Like there's a part of you that's just the lover's coming out. You see them as God sees all of us, right? It's so pure. You're around like a dog or a pet that you just absolutely love, who doesn't talk but just gives you pure love. That you're feeling the lover that's inside of you, right? And then the fourth piece is the magician. The magician is the part of us that can figure it out, can get creative, can work with the divine and find its way to achieve and do and create and add your own sauce to it in your own way. That's the magician. And so I believe my teachings are the true man is the one who, and this is what we do in our work too. We learn how to work with these archetypes so we can train the nervous system to bring them out depending on what life is calling of you. Because there could be any moment, brother, where your partner needs the warrior. Like you need to figure something out. You need to protect. You need to make sure like things are good. Then there's a part of you where she wants the king. Hey, I need structure. I need leadership. I need you to like see this bigger than yourself right now. See it with the family. Like, let me know your purpose. How are you taking care of us and the world? Then they also want to know that the lover's there, where you can have an open heart, where you can be soft. Because if you can be soft in a moment, but they also can see you being the king and the warrior in others, they're like, okay, this is the real true. We hear it all the time. It's kind of overused, but that is the divine masculine man. The man who's not afraid to show his emotions, but who also in an instant can become the most deadly warrior you could ever imagine, can become the greatest leader you could ever imagine, and who can also become the greatest magician, who can just figure it out, who's got this beautiful way of making it happen than you could ever imagine. That is the man. And when you see a man embody all of those and live through all of those, you don't need to have you don't have to be strong all the time. You don't have to be the warrior all the time, because you know who you are and you know each moment. It's just like the seasons, brother, the seasons of life, the seasons of nature. Same thing with a man. And then the art becomes, how does a man learn to use those archetypes depending on what his world is asking from him in that moment? You learn how to do that. Okay, now when you have an open heart and you show more emotions, it's all good, because you don't question that. You don't look at that as weakness. You look at that as the ultimate strength, because that is what is calling upon you in that given moment.
Is there something we haven't touched on that you think we should mention?
Let your own soul be the temple of the religion that you may be seeking. So something I always want to touch on is like, try to question everything so you can come back and find it through your own truth. I believe all of us have a deep intuition. I believe all of us have the divine inside of us. And there's a lot of information going on around there. We have so many religions, let's be honest. It's like, what is real? What are we supposed to do? And all of it can be a beautiful permission slip. There is no one way to get to the divine, but find the divine through your own way, by questioning, by becoming curious. Like, what does that mean? Does that feel right? If it doesn't feel right, let me like dive more into it. Like, why does that not feel right? And trust that we all have this inner compass that's inside of us that is pointing us to where we're supposed to be going. But we have to be able to listen to it. And we have to be able to trust it. And even if it's against the grain of what so many people are telling us or what we've been conditioned to believe, we have to know that that compass is inside of us and we're getting that feedback for a very specific reason. And once we can learn to hone that intuitive piece of us, which I wish to me is just God speaking to us internally, right? Giving us our own messages in the divine's creative, magical way. Once we can learn to do that, man, it's like now we can use that with every area of our life. Now intuition becomes like our ultimate teammate, to where we can use it for relationships. We can use it for how we bring out those archetypes we just talked about. We can use it for what we should be doing right now. Like where should my focus be? And if it's telling us to rest, intuition's not lying. Resting is also productive. So that's a message I wanted to leave with, is like, really understand that there is this compass inside of you, inside all of us. You can give it whatever name you want. All names are made up anyways, but like there's something steering us. We still have to row, you know. God, one of my favorite quotes is, God steers, I row. Right? He lays out the path, but I still have to do the work. You can't steer a parked car, right? You can't move a parked car. It's just not how it works. You have to be able to jump in the driver's seat, take action, put it into drive, and go. And it's no different with what we have. And so trust your intuition, trust the feelings inside, and then be willing to take the action. And know that like it can be challenging at first, but once you do it and you continue to trust it, you can get in what we call the flow state, and then life can become unbelievably magical in so many ways, because now you're trusting this. You're not questioning yourself with everything that everyone's telling you, and you're just trusting what you've always had all along and just taking action. And that becomes a beautiful way of living.
Said.
It's like Tony said, brother. He's like, I don't have bad days anymore. I may have bad moments, but how can we get ourselves out of the bad moments quickly?
Yeah,
That's what all this work is, to come back to our natural
exactly.
state. Yeah,
Yeah, beautiful. Agree 100%. And like 10 years from now, what do you want to see different in men and relationships because of your work, brother?
man, you have such beautiful questions, my bro.
Thank you,
I want
brother.
to see men taking full responsibility for their lives. I want men to have so much clarity on who they are, what they're capable of, and how they can get there. I want them to feel happy about their lives, happy about how they've cultivated their lives. I want them to know that like their past is not their future and that they can change and that it's within us. The responsibility we take gives us the ability to blossom into everything we could ever imagine being. I want men to understand the archetypes they have. They are a king, they are a warrior, they are a lover, they are a magician, and you can use those at your will. Practice them just like you practice anything, and then you become the master, the captain of your own world, right? And I want men to also know like you've always been enough. You've always been enough. You don't have to do anything. You are enough. You came into this world enough. Your breath is the permission slip. Let's remember that. We're not going out and trying to find anything unnatural. We're just remembering who we are at our most natural form. And if we can do that, if we can heal the men of the world, we can heal the world. I am fully certain of it. And I do feel now more than ever, brother, there's a shift happening, that something's changing. We're coming back to the basics. We're coming back to the men that we're supposed to be. And I'm just so blessed to be on the path to be able to be a part of that and to help with it and to continue to spread my message in a way that can at least disrupt some of the patterns that have been going on to allow a potential shift in a man's life.
Yeah, big shift is going on indeed. For better or
Yeah,
worse,
it's
we see
happening,
a lot
bro.
of
Yeah,
crazy things out there. You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. Something's
And
changing, brother. We can all feel it.
we can all feel it. It's weird. So I want to get this last question that has to do with social confidence in men. So have you gotten any clients that are suffering from the lack of social confidence or being uncomfortable in their own skin? So I have this theory here, especially here in Sweden, that I think it was like during the 50s or 60s when children were conceived, they were like 99% of the time in the hospital, and they were taken from their mother and they were placed like in these on these beds, and then they could all only like get like every third hour, I think, go to the mother and get breastfed, and the father could just like wave to the child like from a glass window. So we had like this generation that just got traumatized like after birth, maybe like inside the womb also, like from if the mother have experienced stress and so on. But the attachment, generally speaking, here in Sweden seems just like so far off. And then there's also like a really high, what would we call it, like a high level of a high standard of living here. So you have space for a child to have their own rooms, oftentimes.
Yeah.
So you are not co-sleeping with your children. And people are in this country. So sorry if you are Swede and you feel that you're getting attacked here, but just meditate and do what Justin just told you in the beginning of the podcast. They are so uncomfortable with touch. And I'm so lucky that I have a mother that's Egyptian and a Swedish father that's not afraid of touching.
Yeah.
He passed away, but and I grew up with five brothers, and we basically slept in the same bed. We had the
Wow.
same room. And even when I went down to Egypt during the summers and we were visiting cousins, even if they had a lot of rooms in their house, we slept in the same room. So the connection has always been there. And then training martial arts since I was really young, it's helped me a lot to not be up in my mind, just to be
Yeah. In your body.
here.
Yeah.
I'm really in my body oftentimes.
Yes, I can tell.
Like, so what if you get a guy that you can just like, you can tell directly that this guy, he just lives upside in his,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
behind his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you coach such a dude?
One of the practices I would take him through is immediately going through at least minimum 30 to 45 minutes of us looking at each other in the eyes and doing breath work and doing practices, ego eradicator, whatever it is, to really allow this
Mm.
man to know that he's safe to have connection with another human being. Another piece is, if we can learn something, and if as a baby, they call it failure to thrive syndrome. It can truly happen when you don't have physical touch and you don't have connection like that. It's a real thing. We need that from our mothers. We need that from our fathers. And there's pure evidence that if we don't have that, we also have the ability to unlearn that as well, right? Just like anything, if we have a conditioning that we've had that's been passed down, but then something drastic happens in our life, we can change that conditioning with leverage and with practice and with immersion. And so I would first and foremost start with that, like have this man know that he's safe to have one of the six human needs, which is love and connection, because somewhere in his body, his younger, like there's a part of him who truly, and especially if you're that young, it's so ingrained in you, you do not believe it. And you may not even have memories of that being the case, especially in the first years as an infant of not receiving touch, right? And then the second piece is like it's immersion, and it is a hard thing to do. If we're going to learn another language, you can get on Duolingo. You can have a private tutor once a
Mm.
week. You go to France for 6 months. You're going to learn more in that 6 months than you would 5 years of doing it the other ways, right? It's just how it works.
Yeah.
Immersion. Recognizing that, recognizing your discomfort, and then untangling, going as deep as you can with being around other brothers, being around other people, like putting yourself in an environment, aka men's work, where you can be seen, where you can also see that you're not alone. There's also other people who think like you. There's a lot of men who just naturally don't want like vulnerability or touch, or they have a very hard time connecting. They're in their own internal world big time. The more we can get around and see that and open up about it, we realize, wait a minute, I'm not alone. And that's when the work really begins. When we realize we're not alone in this stuff, and we are not the only ones suffering from not feeling enough, or from anxiety, or from stress, or from being in fight or flight. This is going on with all people, but the only time we can fully know that is when we are vulnerable and open about it. Your pain is your purpose. So like I would also work with that man of like, okay, if we're going to do this, we will practice together, but now the real practice works outside of here. So let's challenge you. How are you going to go out today and we'll start small. How are you going to connect with another human today? No matter how silly you think you look, it doesn't matter. How are you going to connect and be genuine, and then work with meditation, work with all these things we talked about, Morgan, because that allows us to connect deeper. But it really starts with the ability to immerse yourself in some type of work that allows you to be around others who remind you that you're not alone with any of this stuff, and that we're all suffering in our own
Mm.
type of way. Because a lot of those people that are internal like that, they're suffering silently because they don't have a platform or an opportunity to express it or to be vulnerable. They've never been taught it. It's not even like an option in their mind. And so taking that uncomfortable step allows them to slowly but surely begin to unravel these conditionings that have started quite literally when they were born.
Beautiful, brother.
Yeah, man.
Any last words? It's been like what I feel like from this conversation, that like I could go into so many rabbit holes, so many just like I could just like go on so many sidetracks here.
It's been a great conversation, man, with you. Yeah.
Like I could geek out about why Tony Robbins ate tuna fish, and then
Got
he
mercury
got
poisoning.
he
Yeah.
got mercury poison, and I was like, what the fuck is he preaching about? During the UPW event in London 2006, I was like, I'm not doing that
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
had my own beliefs about nutrition and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I love that.
So many things I could just geek out about with you, and and about the six human needs, how
Yeah.
to attract your partner, what, because I don't know if we were gonna cut this out, but I'm just gonna go on a
Yeah. Go for it,
tangent.
bro.
Yeah.
Go for it.
That so that he left his first wife
Yes.
because she was more security driven when we talk about the six human needs, and he was more about growing and
Progress and
contributing.
contribute. Yeah. Yep.
So you had that friction
Yeah.
all the time.
Uh-huh.
So there are these different frameworks I'm trying to look at when it comes to partnering up with somebody that actually would be a great fit for you to create this life that you desire to together. Do you have like any of those frameworks? Like you can look at astrology, you can look at six human needs, you can look at attachment styles, you could look at love languages, the five different love languages. Like where do you draw a line?
Hmm.
Where do you
Yeah.
like how much do you, so you can just get lost in trying to, okay, I just need to have all of this sorted out. I need to have like this interview with the person that I'm dating in order to like not fuck
Yeah.
this up,
Yeah.
because I'm gonna take Tony Robbins' advice and have the correct selection.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you the most simple answer possible.
Yeah, this will be a bonus segment, y'all.
Yeah. This is when trust, energy does not lie. Energy does
Hmm.
not lie. People lie, businesses lie. Energy does not lie. Follow the energy.
What do you mean?
Intuition, energy. Follow what's going on. Follow the compass that's inside of you, and you will know. You'll know. You will. I promise you. There's something inside all of us that knows, already knows, if we're supposed to be with it. Sometimes, how many people have you met? It's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing in this relationship, but I can't even think about leaving it. There's something in there. There's an intuitive pull. There's the higher self. There's God. Someone is pulling strings, and there's an energy that you're following. You're connecting because you know your greatest growth is with them. Follow the energy. Follow the intuition. Follow what feels right, what feels wrong. Right? We know this. A way to practice this is like, okay, I should snort drugs later this evening, and feel how your body feels. Your body will, like, you're going to have something that feels a little off, a little dense. You'll feel it somewhere. And it's different with people, but you can practice this stuff. Now, I'm going to focus on love. I'm going to focus on contentment. I'm going to focus on gratitude. Now, watch how your body feels. There's a lightness. It does not lie to us. So, focus on that with your relationships as well. You can do the frameworks and all that stuff is great, but I promise you this, you already know. Frameworks just help us come back to what we already know. It just gives us our intuition a permission slip to say, yep, that's right. That's correct. I get that. It's almost like a reassurance piece. That's what frameworks are. But you already know inside, so trust that inside of you.
All right, brother, we need to put a period here.
Put a ribbon on it.
Yeah, put a ribbon
We could
on
talk for
it.
another 5 hours, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm 100% positive. So let people know what you're up to and where to connect with your
Yeah,
stuff.
man. So Justin Peters Coaching is my website. I'm very active on Instagram. I'm going to start making a lot more YouTubes as well eventually. But Instagram, I'm always reaching out on my DMs. Right now, I'm just doing one-on-one coaching. I've got some courses coming up, the relationship method, the happiness formula. Relationship method will be for couples. The happiness formula will be for men and women. And then I've got the masculine challenge I'm going to be coming out with as well, which is men only. And so if you're interested in any of that, reach out to me. I'm here to add value in whatever way I can. Like that is my mission. Let me make people's lives better. Like we talked about at the beginning, let me bring light to men and women across the world so they can bring light to others. And so yeah, let's connect. Would love to. And I enjoyed this conversation with you, bro. It's been great. I can
Thank you,
tell you're
bro.
just you're a brother. Like you're cool as can be, bro. I get you, dude. We vibe and it's great.
I get you too,
Yeah.
brother. And I can really recommend just like go and watch Justin's Instagram, because that is where I've got like so much value. You have
Thank you,
all
bro.
of the links on
Yeah.
Instagram. You're doing a great job also as a content creator.
Thank you,
I
man.
want to give you so much props on that
Thank
one.
you, dude.
And so excited for what the future holds for you, brother.
Bro, same with you, man. This will not be the last time we cross paths. I'll tell you that.
I know that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, me too, man. Been a blessing, bro. Thank you so much. You're an absolute stud at this podcast and these questions. This is going to help change a lot of lives, man, with what you're doing here. So great work.
Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, dude.
So that's
Let's do it.
Hey, real quick, if you're listening to this, do me a favor and hit subscribe. I know, like, it's just a button, but it actually helps us keep this thing alive. You're not just clicking a button, you're joining the crew, a brotherhood. You're helping other dudes figure out how to design their lives, level up, and stop wandering around like lost dogs. So go ahead, please hit subscribe. Be part of this little movement we got going, and I promised it won't be boring.